Hi, I'm Susan and from Susan Routledge Consultancy and Finishing Touch Health and Beauty Clinic, and I hope you enjoy these videos that we put together.
Okay, hi, I'm Susan Routledge and welcome to Getting Free PR and Running Successful Promotions and Events and with no cash outlay, which I think I should get a prize for the longest title for the whole of the seminar. But it is a bit of a mammoth task doing it all in 30 minutes, but what we'll do is run through all the main areas. My background is I've been in the beauty industry now for over 30 years, and I'm probably best known for my salon, which is Finishing Touch, which I've had for 25 years. So in that 25 years, I've probably gone through all of and made the biggest mistakes ever doing all of this stuff. So, and now also as well, I work with a lot of other salons, so I see them making the same kind of mistakes. So hence, you know, if I can stop anyone making some of the mistakes I've made, it'll be worthwhile. Basically, before you do all of these, what you need to know is you need to have a plan. Before you start to think about promoting your business and sort of heading it forwards, you need to know what you're doing and where your journey is and where you're going to. Now, although Finishing Touch is the main business that I'm known for, that's actually wasn't my first business. From when I was small, all I ever wanted to do was I always ever wanted to be in the beauty industry or hairdressing industry, and that's the only thing I ever wanted to do. So when I was young, if you came to my house, you'd get sat down and you'd just get one of my makeovers, you'd be having a bit of a back comb, you'd have your makeup done, and my poor grandparents, you know, driving home, my granddad used to be out with his blush on, heaven forbid they ever had a crash. And so growing up, I was very focused on that was what I was going to do, but bearing in mind I live in a little town called Consett, which is 14 miles away from a town, and 30 years ago, it was, you know, even 30 years ago when I came into the industry, it wasn't a big industry. But when I left college, when I left school, I went straight into college. But when I was growing up, my mum is one of those mums who, you can never do any wrong. So, you know, sort of whatever I wanted to do, she was going to be happy with. And it's still the same now. You know, if I'm in a changing room getting changed, trying anything on, you do it quick because my mum's out there standing going, she's got her own business, you know, won awards. If you want a good treatment, go to Consett, you know. So get out there. But my dad was on the other side. He's a businessman and sort of was always you know, that you had to be good in business if that's what you were going to do, and he always thought as well that there was never going to be any money in the beauty industry. A bit wrong there. So of course I did that classic thing as soon as I left college, was that I started my own business, because I thought, yes, you know, I know it all, I'm 20, and in those days as well you had to train for 4 years, so I did 4 years, hair and beauty. Didn't really want to be a hairdresser, but at that time in Newcastle there was only 2 beauty salons, so it made sense that we trained in both because that's where you were going to get a job. So I set myself off with a beauty business, which really was just a hairdressing business. But in those days it wasn't that bad, because really there was only 2 hairstyles. There was a wedge and there was also a curly perm. Yeah, and I could say there's obviously a few people had curly perms, and that was everyone had the same haircut, and it was wearing earmuffs. So I built this business up, and I was just building it. But I just wanted to get it so that it was absolutely brilliant, you know. And my dad kept asking us how it was going, and I kept panning it down, you know. It's okay. And I got it to the point where, I was working ridiculous hours as well, because I hadn't sort of evaluated the fact that when you go to someone's house, quite often if it's a little old lady, they haven't seen anybody for a week, so they bake for you, so you can't leave. So obviously my profits went down, waistline went up. It was just, so a big lesson, price per hour. so I got to the point where, yes, I was going to tell my dad. And then just one night, he died suddenly, never being ill or anything. And it was just, like, not only had I lost my dad, but then I realised as well that, like, the business wasn't anything to do with what I wanted to do. I was just trying to please somebody else. So I didn't have a plan what I was going to do with it or anything like that. And it was just, it started, I just lost interest in it. And, you know, I had a really, really good business. And very soon after that, I got an allergy to perm solution. The doctor told us to look for another profession. And so I remember looking through the yellow pages and just ringing a girl, and I gave her my business because I was just more bothered about clients being okay. And I just gave the whole thing away. Crazy, because obviously I didn't know the relevance of a database, you know, but you do learn a lot in those situations. So I went to work for somebody else, and then had a vision that, you know, I was going to do it right the next time. So the next business I set up was Finish and Touch, and Finish and Touch was totally different. I knew exactly what I was going to do, and, you know, I'd planned everything. I had a strategy where I wanted to get it, and from very early on I knew I wanted it to be like the best. I knew everything I wanted to do. So this is Finish and Touch, the first salon, and as you can see, curly perms were still in, and I'd done every certificate going to so that I would look the best. Had those uniforms designed when I look back. But now, 25 years on, you know, we've had 5 expansions, and you know, I wanted it to be the best salon in the Northeast, got to that. Wanted it to be the biggest salon in the Northeast, got to that. Then I wanted it to be the best in the UK, we won UK salon. Then I wanted it to be the best employer, we won that. And you know, I've just always got something to be focusing on. But the first business I had absolutely no focus and nothing to do. So it wouldn't have mattered how much PR I'd done, how much promotion I'd done. There was no way that once my appointment book was full, I had nothing to expand out of that. And as well, I wouldn't have known what I was doing, where now you just need to have a clear plan what you're doing. The real secret PR machinery is basically, you know, people think, oh, it's, you know, they've got to like get into papers and all this sort. Basically, it's public relations. It's you building a relationship with your public, and the first person that's the biggest part of that is you. You know, and everything you do relates to your business. You know, your business is you, or the person that's heading your business. So personally, I have this thing where I would never walk into my business in a pair of jeans, or I would always walk in as if I was going into a business meeting. But that's me, because like I just think that that's what we're about. We're about really high standards, looking good, and you know, if I walked in a pair of jeans, it just like to me that would be sort of our credibility going downhill, because then I know the girls would think, oh, it's all right, and I'll come in a pair of jeans. Now, with social media, what you want is you want your team, especially even when they're out of work, they are still representing what you do. So especially with Facebook and things like that, so you need to have your team where they have the same, they work into the same sort of vision as you are. If you've got someone who's sort of not, you know, going out and sort of getting drunk every weekend and sort of posting on Facebook at 1 o'clock in the morning, it's going to get back to your clients, you know, one way or the other. Your business ethos and image, you know, I always liken it to a gang. You know, it's sort of, your clients come to you because they identify with you. They identify that everything that your business is about. You've got to have that one person that is your ideal client, and that's who you're focusing towards. Now, what you need to do as well is anybody, if I asked anybody if they could explain their business in a sentence, would you be able to? Yes? No? Yeah? And if it was I do beauty treatments and I've got a beauty salon. That's just not about it at all. You've got like thousands and thousands and thousands of people doing that. What you need to know is what's different about your business and what makes people come to you rather than go somewhere down the road. Now, it could be that it's high standards, it could be that it's like your price point, but you need to know what that is before you can do any promotion or PR or events or anything. You need to know clearly what it is. And if you haven't sat down and done a business philosophy or a mission statement or anything like that, I would suggest that you do it, because if you've got that in writing, then your team know what your business is about and it just gets conveyed on. I did my philosophy for our business 24 years ago, and it's never changed once. So it's in all of our literature, it's in our brochures, it's sort of on the website. All the girls would be able to recite it straight off, and that's what our business is about, and it would never ever change from that. So if you do want to hit the headlines, there's a specific way to do it. The thing is, you need to target which newspapers you would want to be in or which magazines you would want to be in. Now, before I figured this out, every time I contacted a newspaper or anything, they used to say, well, what you'd have to do is pay for an editorial and then in an advert, and then you'd get your piece in the newspaper. No, you don't want to pay for it, no. So, what you need to do to get the attention, it needs to be newsworthy. Now, the thing is that even when you win a business award, you think, oh, wow, fabulous, you know. But to a journalist or to a newspaper editor, that's just another piece of, you know, it's not, to them, it's the biggest thing you've ever done, but to them, it's just another piece on their desk. And it just depends what else has happened. You know, if you want, being cruel, if you wanted something to be on the front page of the newspaper, you'd probably have to have 2 clients outside having a big fight and the police called, and then you'd be on the front page of the newspaper, and that's crazy. But they tried to do a newspaper once where it was just all good news and nobody would buy it. So the thing is, anything that you do, you're going to be past all of like the, you know, court cases and things like that. You probably, it's very hard, even in a local newspaper, unless there's absolutely nothing happening, to get on the front page. You'll always be sort of further down the line. When we won Employer of the Year, we were on page 9, and that was, you know, I was like, but what are you doing? You need it to be great copy as well, because if you imagine that every day a newspaper is getting just loads and loads and loads and loads of things coming on that desk, and what you're doing is you're just another piece of paper. It needs to be something that's written really, really well. So if you've got like some quotes and things in it, it saves them having to ring you and ask you for a quote. So it just makes it far, far easier. You can get somebody else to do it, but it's fairly easy to do it yourself. You need a great headline as well, because headlines do attract people. You know yourself, sometimes you'll read an article and it's absolutely nothing about what the headline's been, but the headline's caught you. And it's the same, you know, every seminar that you've come to, it's been the headline that's attracted you to come to the seminar. If this just said sort of how to run events, you probably wouldn't be here, you'd be sitting having a coffee. But because it's like, you think, oh yes, that sounds like it's going to be interesting, then you'll read it or you'll watch it, and that's just how things are now. You need a great photo. There's no point in trying to take a photo yourself. A newspaper, a magazine just won't do it at all. But a good way to do it is to link with some photographers locally, because they'll come out and take your photograph, because then they'll get some kudos from it. Either that, or get to know the photographers who've worked with the newspapers. That's a great way to do it. And, you know, quite often as well, I've traded like sort of getting photos done and things for facials for their wives and things, you know, like you don't have to like cost it out. Get to know the press as well, so you need to know who you're contacting, because if you know the direct person that you need to be in contact with, it just doesn't then just go into a sea of everything else. and then it goes directly to that person, and then you build up a relationship with them. And you need to think outside the box. So if you're holding some kind of event, say you're having a Macmillan coffee morning, if you've just got a picture afterwards of like everybody standing in a row, like smiling, that's just not going to do it. They've got like 10 photos like that. You're going to have to think outside the box what's actually going to get someone's attention. And I get a bit carried away with some things. But this is one we got. I was actually on page 3 with this. But what I decided to do was to cycle across Sri Lanka for charity. I'm not suggesting that you have to do anything as extreme as this, but as well, I think the photographer was having a bit of a, because I'd done this run 3 times and I was thinking, there's nothing else, why do I have to keep running up and down this hill? But I think he was just having a good laugh about it. But that article, the amount of people and clients who commented on it, and even sort of like people who were totally out of the area, because that went into about 4 newspapers, you know, and but from that, people started asking us what I was doing, and I'd lost weight and things, and then I thought, oh, that's a good idea. So what I decided to do was then run a competition to do an inch loss challenge with 4 clients or 4 ladies who wanted to enter, and then we did this. So we had these ladies do, and this got, I think, onto page 4. But the good thing is as well that now this was last year, and these ladies still do this exercise class, and you know it. But from there, I also got carried away, because then I thought, oh well, if they're losing weight, how good would it be to have an event where like we could have like before pictures, like you know on the big reveal where they come through, and so we got like I'll explain a little bit more about what we did later on, but you know, this has been life-changing for these ladies, and the amount of like, obviously they've told all their friends, they all now come along. We got so many clients out of all of this. And, you know, and as well, you know, Noreen at the front, her blood pressure was sky high when she started. And between them, I think they lost something like 7 stone in no time. But we also linked it to, because we'd just taken in 3D lipo, linked it to that. Phenomenal, we sold loads and loads of courses. We're moving on swiftly to promotions. Promotions, whoa, offers. People just go crazy with them. They now work with a lot of other salons as well, and you know, this is what clients see. They just see like offer, and they're just like, whoa, don't know what to do. But a lot of salons work very, very reactive, so what's happening is they think, oh, we've got nobody in, put an offer on, oh, we've got nobody, oh, we'll put an offer on. And clients aren't daft, clients just think, we've got no clients. You know? So in essence, what you're doing is just chasing people away. You know, it isn't attracting new clients. It can actually work the other way around. It's not, and as well, what you can do is very much alienate all of your clients who come in all of the time, who aren't used to having all of these offers. So and as well, you know, with things like the deal sites, if you've got all these new clients coming in, the gang that you've got think, whoa, hang on, I'm no longer part of this gang. There's all of these different people coming in who like want cut price where we want quality. And it just, you know, you can really, really mess up. So to do effective promotion, you need to know why. The thing is that you need to sort of, it's not just a case of like thinking, oh, we've got a quiet spell, we need to do a promotion. You need to plan it. Last year was our 25th anniversary, and this is a really good one, which anyone can do. I thought, right, what can we do? So like, I had this thing where on the 25th of every month at 2:50 in the afternoon, there was an offer went out, which was a £25 taster session. So it worked brilliant because it got clients in for like new treatments that they'd never tried before, but every client knew to check their emails on the 25th at 2:50. So if you've been in business 3 years, you can do it like on the 3rd of every month, and you can have it at 3 p.m. and you can link it to something relating around 3, you know, like pay for 2, get your 3rd at a discount, or you know, or a different treatment. there's loads and loads of different things you can do, but you need to know why you're doing it. And as well, if you are doing a promotion, it has to then, there's no point in doing a promotion when someone's not then going to carry on having that treatment. So as well, you need to be testing and measuring and assessing it all of the time. There's no point in doing an offer if like it hasn't worked, but people do. They'll like think, oh, I'll try it again, oh, I'll try it again. It's just, but then as well, clients are like thinking what they're doing, you know. It's, and if you don't know what, you know, you can, what's a good thing to think about is that if you've got a client who's coming in just for one treatment all of the time, it's very, very hard to keep that client loyal. And statistics will prove that over and over again. It doesn't matter whether someone's come in for 10 years for their nails. If something they think could be better, and they only have one service with you, they quite easily could move somewhere else, no matter how nice the therapist is or anything like that. If they come in for 2 services, you've got more chance of keeping them. If they come in for 3, 4, you've pretty much got somebody hooked for a long, long time. And so what I would always say is if you're going to do a promotion, link it to a different treatment so that someone's trying something different all of the time. There's no point in just working with salons. There's a lot of salons that they'll just discount everything by 20%. There's no way you can test or measure that, because basically a client hasn't got a choice whether they want 20% off or not. They're having it, and that's it. You know, it's just knocking your profits down, but there's no way that you can ever assess whether that's going to be successful or not. You wouldn't know where that client was coming in anyway. So you need to have, and as well what you need to do is monitor on how they carrying on. Marketing plan is absolutely essential, and there's just so many people don't think about that. And then they'll think, oh my God, it's Valentine's Day in 2 weeks' time, better get something done. And then, oh, it's Mother's Day. And it's just a very, very reactive way to be in business. You need to those dates don't, well, Mother's Day does slightly, but those dates don't change at all. You should know in January that Valentine's Day is coming up in February and have everything planned ready. You know, and then the next one, and the next one. And you're staging it throughout the year. And it just makes it so much easier. And as well, because then you can also tell clients there's something coming up in the future. If you are going to do a promotion or an offer, I'd get your suppliers on board. You know, the thing is that you don't need to be discounting your prices, especially this time of year. A lot of suppliers have still got a lot of stock left that they haven't sold at Christmas. And if you're doing something, an offer or something, ask them for if they'll send some products over. And 9 times out of 10 they will, but nobody asks. That's why the ones who do ask get them. You know, so you don't need any promotions to be coming out of your pocket. You know, there's other resources that you can tap into in getting your costings right. You need to know how much it costs per hour to make a profit in your salon. If you don't know that and your team don't know that, you need to find that out, because if you're going to start discounting things, there's just no way that you're ever going to make, what's the point in, you wouldn't go and work for somebody else for less than minimum wage, but salon owners will, they'll do daft offers and think, oh, my appointment's book's full, you know, and it's just not the way to do it. So you need really, really to think seriously about any offers and make sure that it does stay above your price point. If it's fallen below your price point, unless you know that you can upsell something at the end of it, then it's not worth doing. And as I say, if you're linking it to other treatments, that's a far better way to sort of build up brand awareness and things. Courses are always the easiest to sell, but if we do a course, we would never do a course just on one treatment. We would do a course on, it would be, say it was a Casey course, then it would also have a hydrodermy in, it would also have some radio frequency in, so that clients are trying different kinds of treatments. You know, you don't want them just having a discount on one treatment does absolutely nothing. Then what they'll do is next time, once they finish that course, they go, oh, when's my next discount course? No. And as well, to promote it. There's so many different ways to promote it now. You know, when I first started in business, it was like either had to post a letter to someone or you had to ring them. You know, now there's so many different channels, but statistically, again, people need to see something 6 times before they'll act on it. So if your team are just telling somebody about something, they'll not go for it. They need probably to have a poster to look at, they need it to be emailed to them. The different ways before they'll make a buy-in decision. You know yourself, you wouldn't sort of, it's very rare that you'll walk in somewhere and just buy something. If it's a larger purchase, you'd have a look on Amazon, you'd have a look on different areas, and clients are no different now. Events, large or small, it can be something really small, it can be just something like a skin analysis event, or it can be something really, really big. Like when we do events, we'll like take over a hotel and I get other businesses involved, and you know, I just get carried away. But the thing is that you get it all for free, especially if you charge it and it's for charity. So what I would always do is have a charity behind it. If you're doing it for charity, then you get all sorts. I say we get hotels for free. They then get suppliers to put fizz on, and then we've had photographers there, fashion show, and everyone just does it for free because it's for charity. And clients will come along quite happily because they think, oh, we're getting this and this and this and this. And then you also have offers. Best events now are events which are taster treatment events. It's not very often now that a good way to test it is, look at your event and think if you would want to go to it, especially if it was a cold, dark night. And if it wouldn't float your boat and you want to go to it, your clients will not want to go to it. If you're doing a thing where it's just beauty treatments where someone comes and watches a demonstration, how boring to somebody else is watching a facial? You know, it's like, it's not... Oof. But if you change it instead to 10-minute taster treatments, it just becomes so interactive and clients love it. So that you'll have people on the bed like going, what does that feel like? And they'll go, oh, can I go next? Can I go next? And it just causes such a buzz. But if you've got people there, sort of like, you know, even if you've only got 20 people there, I'd expect if you've got 5 different treatments that they're trying, they'll book, especially if there's an offer on, they'll book that night. And you know, we've done events where we've sold over £20,000 in a night in 3 hours, just because, you know, you've got to make it that someone wants to be there, and that it's like just a great, it needs to be something fun, so everybody wants to come along. So again, create a buzz, you know, beforehand. What you could do is do like early discount, like an early bird discount. Once you've done that, then everybody like buzzes to get like the early bird tickets. But you know, it's very, very easy to get people on board, especially if there's a charity involved. Get others to promote, like we did with the inch loss ladies. You know, like it was just such a big buzz, and we got so much publicity around the fact that like there was going to be, you know, there was just so many different things going to be on that night. But the big draw was that everybody wanted to know what they're going to look at like before and after, and it was really good fun. And finally, just don't panic, because clients will book late, and as well it is trial and error. So if your first event doesn't go as planned, or your promotion, then what you do is test and measure it and find out what your clients want. Talk to them, you know. But say the best thing at the moment that we do is do the taster treatments. It works absolutely phenomenally. What's next? Sorry, it's been a bit of a whirlwind. I did say that everyone who came to the seminar would get a free book, because the end of the day, doing all of this, the only reason you're doing all of this is to retain clients. Get new clients, retain them. But what you want to be doing is retaining the ones that are new, that are coming in. Otherwise, you're just always chasing this, you know, and letting clients fall out the other side. Once you've got a client, you need to retain your client, and there's easy ways to do that. I love writing now. So what I've done, it was like carrying a person, carrying all these books down. I came down on the tube, I was like this. But so these books are normally a larger size, but I've got a smaller size done for the for the event. So if we'd love to get sort of your details and give you a book. This book, it's designed just to be read in 30 minutes. Got loads and loads of tips on there's 50 tips on how to retain clients. So you read it in half an hour and then you go back over it and thing. But in the back, if I can just time, in the back there's a personal invitation to have a 15-minute discovery session with me. So if there's any problems that you've got with your business or anything, then you just ring Teresa, and there's a card in there, and then we just have a bit chat. Because the thing is that if you've got any problems going on in your business, I'll have hit them as well in 25 years, I can tell you. So thank you ever so much for being a fabulous audience. Thank you.